Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about equality. So, Thomas Jefferson famously said in the Declaration of Independence, among other things, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. So let's take a closer look at what exactly that statement means, and then look at some voices of opposition. The first clip we're going to be taking a look at is from a user called the Amazing Atheist. For those of you who don't know, he's one of, if not the most popular atheist here on YouTube. So here we go.
This video is about equality. Everyone should be treated equally. It's right there in, what, the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution or something. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Real life is too complicated to try to subject it to some naive notion like equality. Like, does it ever occur to you people that we're not equal? We're just not? Does it ever occur to you that different people have different sets of different skills and they're not necessarily exactly equivalent to one another? How do you treat people equally, and in fact, why do you treat people equally when there is no actual equality? It doesn't really exist.
Jefferson is talking about how human life is inherently valuable. Now, he doesn't exactly explain why it's objectively valuable. Some would argue it's because we have a soul, or because we're created in the image of God, or that it has something to do with sentience or personhood. But that's actually irrelevant to this part of the conversation. He isn't trying to explain why human life is inherently valuable, just how we come to know that it's inherently valuable. And Jefferson argues that that part is self-evident. Now, one important thing not to gloss over here is that Jefferson only argues that we are all inherently valuable. He's not arguing that all humans have the same abilities or that we will all have the same accomplishments in our lives. So when the Amazing Atheist argues that individuals differ in abilities and accomplishments, he just isn't saying anything that contradicts what Jefferson said. This next atheist girl is named Heyruka, and she makes very similar mistakes.
So you say that races don't exist, and that or races are all the same and equal, and that individuals are all equal. How can you say that?
Because we're not talking about equality in terms of something like level of melanin in your skin or average height, but in terms of value. And there's simply no reason to think that one race is inherently more valuable than another.
My acceptance of racism and racialism began with seeing past equality and realizing that all individuals are not created equal.
So even if I was to accept what you said wholesale, nothing that you said justifies accepting racism.
To deny the existence of race is to betray who you really are. Pretty much the only thing that matters in our pathetic existence. And contrary to what a lot of people have been telling me, your ancestry kind of does determine who you are.
So this girl might be trolling.
I'm just throwing it out there that racial hierarchies do exist and IQ hierarchies do exist. And given what psychologists know about intelligence, we should be a little more concerned with IQ. Not so much individual IQ, but that of a collective racial group. It's usually your race, in general, your race, that determines your IQ, not so much your individual parents.
Right when you mention racial hierarchies, that's when you put yourself into the category of being a racist. Even if you did prove that different races have different skills and abilities, that does not create a racial hierarchy that would allow you to say that one race is objectively superior to another. Now, there are reasons why certain groups could score lower on IQ tests than others. IQ is comprised of some combination of heredity and environment, so that means things like education and proper nutrition are going to be relevant factors. You also have to consider cultural and psychological factors, like, for example, stereotype threat. Stereotype threat is basically a self-fulfilling prophecy when it comes to negative stereotypes. So, while I don't think you've given really good reason to think that white people are more intelligent, I think your argument fails on an even more fundamental level. Hypothetically, even if I had a higher IQ than you, that wouldn't make me more of a person, entitled to special rights, inherently more valuable, or automatically your superior. Now, changing that conversation from an individual level to talking about an entire race wouldn't change any of those facts.
I do advocate for a nationalist society for every racial and ethnic group, separate from others. What I mean is just we should construct borders, okay, and divide ourselves racially.
What's that slogan going to be? Separate but unequal? That sounds like a great way to promote us versus them mentality, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be doing any favors for humanity. As always, test everything, hold on to the good.
I cannot believe the level of ignorance and hatred and denial and emotional bigotry